Hi guys, a very warm welcome to this session, and I'm your master teacher of social science at Vedantu, Ankana. How are you guys doing? So here guys, the very first thing that we are going to do before we actually pick up with the texts is look at the syllabus. As you know, the syllabuses have been revised for all the boards, and so has it been for the ICSE board as well. So we are going to first get an introduction to the revised syllabus for history and civics. Let's get started. Let's look what are the things that we are through the sessions going to focus in the history subject. The very first unit that we have is the Indian national movement, right, which focuses from 1857 to the 1917, this period. So under this, the very first chapter that we are going to do is the First War of Independence in 1857. Now you have to see, notice one thing, in a lot of places, especially in ICSE board, what has happened is we may have not eliminated the entire chapter, but a lot of subtopics have been taken out. So under this chapter, we only have to focus on the causes, the political, socio, religious, economic and military causes that led to the First War of Independence. Okay? So the events, however, need to be mentioned in order to maintain continuity for a more comprehensive understanding. This is what we are going to do. Okay. After this, we have the second chapter, which is the factors leading to the growth of nationalism. What are we going to focus under this chapter will be socio-religious reform movements, foundation of the Indian National Congress, and immediate objectives of the Indian National Congress. So these are the subtopics which we'll be learning. Guys, we'll be definitely looking at the nuances of everything, but we have the idea of this video is to just have an overview, a zoomed out look at what we are majorly going to do, what our days are going to look like when we'll be focusing on history and civics. Which brings me to the third chapter, which is the first phase of Indian national movement. Over here, we're going to discuss the objectives and the methods that led to the of the struggle of early nationalists, followed with any two contributions of these people who were very actively part of the movement. Okay? Then fourth one will be the second phase of the Indian national movement, under which we'll be discussing partition of Bengal, the struggle of the radicals, what were their objectives, what were their methods that they used, and any two contributions of the people like Bipin Chandra Pal or Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, okay? And the rise of Muslim League. What was its objective? Who were the people involved? After that, we'll have the fifth chapter, which is the Muslim League. So the objectives will go in more depth into this. Then we'll start our second unit, which will focus on the mass phase of the national movement, and the period is going to be from 1915 till the freedom period, which is of 1947. Under this, the chapters that we are going to cover is the sixth chapter, Mahatma Gandhi and the national movement, under which we'll be talking about movements like non-cooperation, civil disobedience, and the Quit India movement. What were the causes? How did it started? What led to the launch of these movements? Why did it have to stop? What were the why did it decline? What were the factors which were involved, which were responsible for its decline, and what effects did it have? All of this will be covered under this, basically the movements under Mahatma Gandhi. Then the Quit India movement, because it has its own importance, but again we have already seen in the previous chapter we'll be touching upon the causes and all. So over here, the development of the movement basically. So over here we'll majorly focus on the causes. What were the failures that led to this, and how did it result? What was the result of this movement and its importance in terms of attaining freedom for the country? Then we will have forward block and the INA, okay, its objectives and the contributions of Subhash Chandra Bose. Then finally we have independence and the partition of India, Finally, when we get independent, that is what we'll be doing. Will be I mean addressing through this chapter, under which we'll be discussing about the Mountbatten Plan, the clauses that it had, how was it accepted? I mean, what were the different terms involved, and then the Indian Independence Act of 1947, under which we are just going to focus on the clauses, guys. And then we'll start our third unit, which is the contemporary world, the modern world, which will talk about the First World War. Again, we are going to discuss about the causes, nationalism, imperialism, division of Europe, and the Sarajevo crisis. And then again, the results of this, which was the Treaty of Versailles. Okay. Then we will move on to the Second World War. What were the causes of the Second World War? What it led to? What are the things that we are going to focus on? And then, of course, it will be involved. I mean, what was responsible for this will be the dissatisfaction from the treaties. Then how it led to Hitler's invasion, and all those things is what we will be focusing on under the Second World War. The Japanese invasion, the rise of fascism and Nazism, and failure of League of Nations. Okay. Then, because of the World War, how did United Nations? So, United Nations, chapter 12 will be United Nations, and under which we'll be understanding the objective of United Nations. How, because of the World Wars, United Nations was established to maintain the world peace. The composition of the General Assembly, major agencies, these will be our focus points over here. Guys, I'm not going into a lot of depth of what we are going to do under each subtopic, because we will anyways be taking that up when we start with the chapter. The idea of this session is to have an understanding of what the texts will be looking like when we go and kind of dive into them. Okay, what are the certain things that we will be taking up, which brings me to the 13th chapter, which will be non-aligned movement, NAM. NAM is very like, it's well known. It came after the after the World War, where the two superpowers came into existence. So under which how the country was not aligning with any particular superpower. So brief meaning, what was Panchsheel, and the name of the architects of NAM. Okay, so this is what we'll be doing in history. Let's have a look at what we are going to have in civics as per the new revised syllabus. So the very first chapter is the Union Legislature, under which we are going to understand the federal setup of government in India. How does it look like in India? The Union Parliament, the different levels, the different sabhas, and the powers and functions of the Union Parliament. Then we'll have the second chapter, which will talk, which is the Union Executive, which will talk about the two main offices of the President and the Prime Minister, and the COM, the Council of Ministers. What you need to be there, what qualifies you to be in this office, what are the certain powers, what are your responsibilities, and the whole process is what we will be focusing under this chapter, guys. And then we'll have judiciary, the judiciary. So as you know, under this we're going to discuss the judiciary system of India, the different levels of courts, what are there, how is it composed, what are its powers, what comes after what, the jurisdictions and functions, all of the compositions, qualifications of the judges is what we'll be learning about, all the three types of courts in India. This is what is the revised syllabus going to look like, and this is what we will be doing going forward. So guys, please do not forget to like and subscribe the video. Stay tuned. I am soon going to come with the very first session of our chapter, and I'll see you there. Also, I'll be doing a video on the revised syllabus of geography and economics, when we'll be beginning with the texts of those. And please, you do not have to be impatient or worried about anything from this subject or for this channel, because we have just got started and we are gonna blow it. You can always reach out to me on my email ID, and if you have any questions, anything, don't forget, don't be reluctant to put it in the comment box. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll see you very soon, guys. Take care, stay home, stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye bye, and stay home, guys.